Learn CPR. Be the beat for someone to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
Now, Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city on a Monday Lundy Gras. Casey Gaines and Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. It's like a ghost town around here. Half the sales staff is gone. Moscona's not here. Jacob and T-Bob are out. Got musical chairs in the production seats. But we're locked and loaded as normal. Hunt Palmer, Casey Gaines, Taylor Sharp with you on this Lundy Gras. Hope you are enjoying it. If you have the day off, enjoy. If you're working like us, don't work too hard. Just lock us in for the next couple of hours. I am paying significantly for lack of sunscreen yesterday. Was out on the parade route on St. Charles yesterday from 8:30 until like 4 and did not give sunscreen 1 second of thought. Absolutely never thought of it. It was 65 degrees out. I had short sleeves on, and I'm just cooked. So if you're on a parade route somewhere right now, maybe throw some sunscreen on. So you'll thank me tomorrow, maybe. I was not so fortunate. But glad to be back in action here on this Monday. Lots to get to over the next 2 hours. LSU hoops, not so great. SEC basketball recap. But we are going to start heavy on baseball. We'll do a couple segments here on LSU baseball, talk some SEC baseball, since you've said that that's something you want to be interested in this year. We asked the people in the poll. The people in the poll said they wanted to talk SEC baseball. We're going to do it. We'll start with, obviously, LSU sweeping Western Michigan over the weekend. Western Michigan is not good. They had an 18-hour bus ride to get to Baton Rouge. They haven't practiced outside, and LSU took care of their business. All that is basically secondary. It's just more of getting things rolling, getting guys on the mound, getting some guys some at-bats, and getting the season off on the right foot. And LSU certainly did that over the weekend. I guess the one massive disappointment, which appears not to be nearly as bad as it looked when it happened, was the Tommy White injury. Y'all know how excited I was to get out to the box on Friday and take in the season opener, and got out there and grab a seat, grab something to eat, something to drink, settle in. LSU's offense comes out there. Tommy White, big RBI single. He's fired up, and then he dives back into first base, and I'm sitting there, and I'll be honest, I missed the play. I did not see the throw over to first base. I don't know what I was looking at, but I was not looking. But I did look down and see the trainer running over to Tommy White. And when he came off the field and was not moving his shoulder and kind of leaning forward, I'm going, this is a disaster. I mean, he couldn't even give me like a kind of a wind with his arm or kind of loosen it up. Or he wasn't moving anything. And I'm going, I cannot believe this just happened. But obviously we get the news after that game, and then again on Sunday, that he's just a little bit sore, popped it back into place. Happened before. Kind of brings me back to last year with Cade Doty in Nashville when he dove to his left and knocked his shoulder out of socket, and they popped it right back in right there on the field, and he kind of ran off the field, and he was back and swung the bat pretty well a week later. So hopefully Tommy White returns to action at some point over the next 10 days, and this is a story of the past and not of the present, but glad that it seems like everything is on the up and up there. So that was the first thing that happened. But other talking points I want to get to. Paul Skeens looked fantastic. He really, really did. The line is good. Aesthetically, it looked good. He was everything that you hope your number one would go out there and be. He totally overwhelmed an overmatched team. He threw 6 innings, only gave up 3 hits, no runs. He struck out 12 and walked 1. He threw 98 pitches, and I think the most important thing I saw from him was the fact that he was still throwing 97 miles an hour on his 98th pitch of the day. That's a guy who's holding his velocity, whose stuff is consistent throughout the outing. It's not a deal where he comes out ripping 97, 98, and then all of a sudden settles in at 92, 93. He held his velocity for the entire start, which I think was huge. This is something I say every single year. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to say it next year at this time. I'll say it the year after that. Opening weekend tells me what you can do. It does not tell me what you can't do. I'll tell you what I mean by that. if you go out on opening weekend and go 0 for 8 with 6 strikeouts, it doesn't mean you can't hit. It means you didn't hit. Maybe you can. But if you go out there on opening weekend, like Paul Skeens did, and on your 98th pitch of the outing, hit 97 miles an hour, that means you can do that, obviously. That's what I take from opening weekends. Not necessarily season-long narratives that we have to overreact to. It's, okay, what did I see? If you can drive a ball out of the ballpark the other way 415 feet, you can do that. That's impressive. If you can hold your velocity to your 100th pitch, you can do that. That's impressive. I don't have to guess. Opening weekend tells me what you can do, not necessarily what you can't do. And Paul Skeens, I thought, was phenomenal. But on the same page there, literally on the box score of the same page, Christian Little was awesome on Friday. I know that it was a blowout and that everybody was fat and happy at that point, and maybe you kind of tuned out or you were leaving work because it was an early. But Christian Little came in there and was real good. He threw 18 of his 22 pitches were for strikes. He was throwing a breaking ball over the plate for strike one. He was snapping breaking balls off for strikeouts. The fastball was mid-90s. He was excellent. And I think that's his role moving forward. Really strong 1 to 2 innings out of the bullpen in high-leverage games. I think Grant Taylor would have probably taken that spot. Maybe he's the game 2 starter. I'm not certain what was going to be Grant Taylor's role, but that certainly could have been one. Now there's a void there potentially, and I think Little has the ability to fill it. I thought Christian Little was awesome in the game on Friday. He had 2 perfect innings, struck out 3. Great stuff from Christian Little on Friday. We want to stick with starting pitching. Riley Cooper was very, very strong in his outing on Saturday. He goes 5 1/3, did not allow a hit, struck out 7. He was hammering the bottom third of the strike zone with his fastball. Just at the knees, just absolutely relentless down in the zone. The breaking stuff was good. He stayed ahead of guys all day and did a really nice job. I still don't believe that Riley Cooper's role in this team is going to be as the number 2 starter. That's just an opinion of mine. I think that there are going to be some shuffling that goes on, and I think he eventually probably moves in the bullpen, but that's an opinion. Maybe not. He was really, really good on Saturday, and I heard Max talking a little earlier on Hanny's show, and they were talking about taking Riley Cooper out even though he hadn't allowed a hit, and there was a no-hitter on the line. Look, it's the first weekend of the season. He had thrown 71 pitches. You hit a pitch count, you're out of there. Not going to overextend to try to throw a no-hitter against Western Michigan in weekend number 1. I thought Cooper really did a nice job. Unfortunately, he handed the ball to Bryce Collins after that, and Bryce Collins just didn't have it. He hit a guy on his first pitch. Then he gave up a first pitch single. Then he went 3-0 to the next guy and ended up giving up a hit. You can't fall behind like that. You hit a guy, and then you fall behind 3-0 and give up a hit. Like, you just got to throw more strikes. The good news, stuff was fine. Fastball was in the mid-90s. The breaking ball had a lot of bite to it. He got behind, and then he gave up hits. Bryce Collins is still going to be a very high leverage reliever for this team. He was really the one guy on the mound that didn't quite have his best stuff. But Jay went to Ackenhausen, who went the last 3 1/3 and was very, very good. Struck out 2, and only gave up a hit and a run. I thought he did a nice job on Saturday when he came in. Collins, no, not concerned. Just didn't have it and was letting guys get ahead. Then Chase Shores got to start on Sunday. I thought looked very strong. The fastball velocity is what we thought it would be. It was upper 90s, 97, 98 at times. He wasn't spectacular, but he was solid. And you can see all the potential in the world in him. I thought Shores threw a ton of fastballs. I was fine with that. It's his first outing. Western Michigan hadn't seen a lot of 98-mile-an-hour fastballs in their day. Just do with what's comfortable in your opener. It wasn't like they were lighting him up by any stretch of the imagination. He was getting outs with his fastball, so continue to throw it. That's fine by me. He ends up going 3 1/3, 2 hits and a run, walked 2, and struck out 2. He threw 60 pitches in his 3 1/3 innings. I thought Shores did a pretty nice job, and we'll learn a little bit more about him as the competition level raises just a touch coming up this weekend. It's not like they're about to go play Florida this weekend, but they're going to play 3 better teams than Western Michigan this weekend. So hopefully Shores looks very good once again. Ty Floyd, I thought, was excellent. 35 of his 46 pitches were strikes. The fastball had a ton of ride, and they had a hard time hitting it. They were swinging through it a lot, which is going to happen when you've got that high spin rate fastball that guys just don't see very well. And then he threw some breaking balls that were very, very good. And I like Floyd coming out of the bullpen there as well. I think that's a really good role for him. I think he can extend. He can eat up a large chunk of the game, whether you're behind and you're trying to stay in it and let the offense swing the bat, or you're trying to slam the door. And Floyd gave you 3 innings. They were perfect. He struck out 4, retired all 9 guys that he saw. So I thought excellent work from Ty Floyd as well. Again, Western Michigan's not good. So anything that I'm talking about here, you take with a little bit of a grain of salt, understanding who the competition is. But the radar gun is what it is, and throwing strikes is what it is. And most of LSU's pitching staff did that. I thought they did a very, very good job over the weekend on the mound. And then the other thing in terms of what run prevention is, what the new term for defense and pitching is, run prevention. LSU's defense was very, very good. I thought very, very good over the weekend. They did not make an error in 27 innings of play. I think those of us that watched last year and had some concerns entering this year, that should help alleviate a little bit. They played very, very strong defense from the start to the finish. They got a big double play ball in the game on Saturday in a tight game. They were able to turn a 6-4-3 there, starting with Thompson. So I thought the defense was very good, and that the pitching was good as well. And we know that there's a real strong chance this team's going to swing the bats excellently all season long. You pitch it really well and play good defense, that's a recipe to win a ton of baseball games, and certainly LSU, I thought, did that over the weekend. Still got a ton of talking points I want to get to offensively. Something I saw on Saturday that I thought really exemplified the depth of this LSU team that I really enjoyed looking at. Gavin Dugas returned to thumping the ball out of the yard. So tons of offensive stuff to get to when we come back on the Hunt Palmer Show.
Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Just envision your dream bathroom. Envision it. Make it a reality. One Bath and Closets can do it. It starts with a free consultation. They'll come in, take a look around, get an idea from you of what it is that you want to do, and they'll put a customized solution for you. Maybe it's a full-scale remodel. They can do that. One call, one contractor, One Bath and Closets. David Duvall and his team will handle it from start to finish. Maybe it's something simple like a tub-to-shower conversion that could change your entire bathroom in terms of the way it functions and the way it looks. One Bath and Closets, they can help you with that. On the closet side of things, tell them the Hunt Palmer Show sent you. You do that, he's not going to charge you the labor to tear your old closet out. He's not going to charge you the labor to install the new one. Just going to charge you for the cost of that unit. Go to the website, onebathandclosets.com. You can see pictures of all their great work. You can see the testimonials. They're all right there. Get David Duvall and his team involved in your new remodel for your bathroom or your closet. You will not regret it. Onebathandclosets.com is the website, onebathandclosets.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
We get it done with strength,
commitment,
dedication,
grit.
We get it done with passion for our fans
and love for our community. We are the Tigers.
get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana Loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Water.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Moon Griffon is back, the voice of Louisiana.
Join us for the Monday edition of Game Time. We're live at Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. Charlie's in Franklin for Lundi Gras, but me and Max are holding the show down Monday, 6 to 8 p.m. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. Enjoying the boil, crawfish, and a whole lot more. Game Time on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Just heard that promo Jimmy said. Game time at Sammy's on Highland this evening. Have some crawfish going. I'm 9 days away from crawfish. I'm a March 1 crawfish guy. I'm certainly not going to begrudge you or judge you for a January, February crawfish session. That's just fine if it's what you want to do. I like to give it a little time, and I like to wait until March. I'm not wild about little bitty baby crawfish that I'm paying a lot of money for. I'd rather just wait for them to mature a little bit. Let's get a little better size, and we'll make that happen in March. So if you're firing away on some crawfish this evening, more power to you. Love it. I'm just not quite going to join you in that endeavor until March 1, which is only a little over a week away. So we'll live. LSU offense was pretty good over the weekend. I thought there were some real high points for LSU. But I want to start not with an individual, with a sequence in the game on Saturday that I really enjoyed as someone who's got high hopes for this baseball team. Because I think things like this are going to be more common on this team than we've seen on LSU baseball teams in the past. In the past, you've got like 9 or 10 guys who are your guys, and they play just about every day, 1 through 9 innings, and that's what you see. And I don't think that's going to be the case with this LSU team. And I thought on Saturday, the perfect scenario of why I believe that unfolded. You're in a tight game on Saturday. It was real tight. You ended up winning the game by 2. But in this point, in the 8th inning, it's 4-2. You have a 2-run lead. And Braden Jobert, one of your best hitters, rips a double down the line to lead off the inning. Now, Jobert's a really good hitter. He's not a fast runner. He's an okay runner. He's lost some weight. He's a decent athlete. He's not slow, but he's not one of your fastest guys, and he's not one of your best defenders. He's done his job. He got a hit. We go to the well, and we go to the bench, and we pinch run. Josh Stevenson runs for Braden Jobert. You've upgraded your speed there for sure. So Brady Neal comes up, and he's intentionally walked. He's your best offensive weapon at catcher. Not a great runner. So you pinch run Mick Paul here for Neal. He's an outfielder. He's got better speed. So you've gone to the bench and found 2 speed guys to come pinch run. You're also facing a right-handed pitcher. And Paxton Kling is coming up in this inning. He's a freshman right-handed hitter. And you pinch hit Josh Pearson in this spot, who's left-handed. Pearson delivers a sac fly, gets the RBI. You use your speed there. A pinch runner and a pinch hitter. And you've pinch hit for Kling, so Pearson goes into the outfield. You come out on defense, and you pinch ran for Neal, so Alex Milazzo comes in and catches. So you've got Milazzo and Stevenson now out there defensively, as opposed to Neal and Jobert. You've improved yourself. So you've got different guys playing different roles. I want Jobert and Neal taking these at-bats. I want Stevenson and Paul running. I want Milazzo and Stevenson playing defense. And wouldn't you know it, in the 9th inning, with one out, they hit a pop-up, and Alex Milazzo ran over towards the dugout and made a really nice defensive play. I'm not suggesting Neal can't make the play, but Milazzo's a really good defender, and he did make the play. So you went from your offensive lineup to your defensive lineup there in the 8th inning, had your best defensive players out there, and one of them made a really good defensive play. I love that kind of stuff. I can sit here and tell you, oh, sweet opposite field bomb Dylan Cruz hit on Sunday. Yeah, it was, but we already know that. I like to get into the weeds of this kind of stuff, and that shows the depth of this team, and it's not something I think we've seen a ton of with LSU baseball because you just got your main guys, and those are the guys that are out there. This time, you've got some guys with some special skill sets that can help you put them in a spot to succeed. Letting Josh Stevenson run and play defense puts him in a spot to succeed. Putting Alex Milazzo in a chance to play defense puts him in a position to succeed. Same thing with Brady Neal and Braden Jobert swinging the bat. So I thought that situation that unfolded on Saturday was really, really cool. Gavin Dugas was the headline grabber over the weekend with what he did offensively. 6 for 8 on the weekend, hit a pair of home runs. Great for Gavin. When I said preseason, this was 2 weeks ago, that I thought that Dugas was running third behind Merrifield and behind Napolt, I believed that. Not because Gavin Dugas can't play. We all know the statistics by now. 19 homers, led the SEC in RBI. Like, we got all that. But he hasn't been able to practice or scrimmage with any consistency over the last 3 months. So it's difficult for me to forecast that he's going to be right in there when he's never practicing and the other guys have had really good camps. But Merrifield had to move over to third because White got hurt. Napolt played some third. There were some more at-bats to be had, and Gavin got his chance. And he had that eye procedure. He's seeing the ball a lot better right now, and he hit 2 balls out of the yard, got 6 hits over the weekend. That is a great, great sign for him. Now, was he facing Vanderbilt's arms? No, he wasn't. But 6 for 8 with 2 homers, or 6 for 8 with 2 homers, so good on you, Gavin Dugas. I was shocked that Jared Jones started all 3 games at DH. Not because I don't think Jared Jones is a good hitter. I think Jared Jones is a great hitter. But I figured that they would get a lot of guys at bats this weekend, and the DH spot is certainly a place you could do that. Figured you'd see at least 2 starters at DH this weekend. You didn't. Jones was your starting DH all 3 games. I thought with a couple runners on base and a full count to him on Friday in the middle innings, for him to be aggressive, get the bat head out, and rip a line drive double into left field was a really aggressive quality at bat from him. And I thought by the same token on Sunday, for him to take a ball out over the plate, let it travel a little bit, and drive it to right field off the wall was really impressive. Those are 2 very different swings. One is, I'm getting a fastball, 3-2, he's not going to walk me. Let's get aggressive and get out in front of this thing and rip it down the line. The other was a ball out over the plate. Let's let it travel and drive it the other way with an inside-out swing. He did both. He's a really good hitter, and I thought those 2 doubles were really indicative of the fact that he can do everything up there offensively. Jones is going to be a heck of a player. I loved that. Brady Neal, in different conditions, maybe has 2 home runs over the weekend. Showed some warning track power. I mean, I'm telling y'all, on Friday, if you did not go out to the box on Friday, it was bitterly cold. Bitterly cold. The wind was whipping out of the north, and it was a chilling wind. And so for Brady Neal to rip one all the way to the wall in that wind and those conditions was impressive. He did it again later in the weekend. He's going to hit some homers this year. And obviously, it was not a situation with Brady Neal where they wanted to go with Alex Milazzo for the first couple of games, let Neal kind of see some things, get his feet wet, maybe a pinch hit here or there. No. They threw him in the deep end of the pool and said, hey, kid, go handle this staff and start. And he did. I thought Neal did a really good job offensively. And here's the deal. Dylan Cruz is a proven commodity. I know what I'm going to get from him. When Tommy White comes back and is healthy, you know what you're going to get from him. Trey Morgan, proven commodity. Jordan Thompson, proven commodity. We know what those guys can and will do. The depth of the lineup and ultimately the strength of this team will be manifest in guys like Gavin Dugas and Jared Jones and Brady Neal. If those guys, the Paxton Klings and Josh Pearsons, if those guys become forces offensively, you go from a good team to a downright terrifying team. If 2021 Gavin Dugas shows up and he hits 17 home runs and hits 325, this team is going to be really tough to beat. And I thought those guys were excellent over the weekend. So, last order of business on LSU baseball before we get to some SEC baseball. And this is really more of an all-encompassing topic here, but it's the time of the game and the rules. And if you were paying attention to college baseball Twitter this weekend, you saw the Tennessee batter not being given time after asking for it 9 different times. Literally. He's holding the bat in the box going, time, 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 time. And then he holds his hand up and the umpire just never gave it to him. He ended up walking, but they're just not going to give time. They're enforcing strikes when batters step out of the batter's box. If you saw Arkansas TCU over the weekend, batter's in there with 2 strikes. He steps out. The umpire just rings him up. Pitcher just walks off the mound. They are not playing around with this time stuff. It got enforced one time for LSU over the weekend, Braden Jobert on Friday, and I was at the game paying attention, looking at the scoreboard. It said a 3-1 count. Jobert takes a pitch, called strike 3. I have no idea what happened. I just assumed the scoreboard operator missed a pitch. Nope. They just were going to add a strike there because you're not in the box on time. And the result for LSU was a 2-hour and 35-minute game on Friday, a 2-hour and 20-minute game on Saturday, and a 2-hour and 50-minute game on Sunday. They never approached 3 hours. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. And for the fan that they're trying to bring in and keep engaged, this is going to be an overwhelming success. Because if you look across the SEC, game times were down almost half an hour. I hate it. Dave Van Horn went in his post-game press conference with Arkansas over in Arlington and said he thinks it's ruining the game because they're trying to get bunt coverages in, they're trying to give signs to a batter, they're trying to change something mid-at-bat that they're doing, and they're not allowed to do it because you can't step out or take any time. They're not even granting time to the Tennessee guy. And the fact of the matter is they don't care what I think because they've already got me. They know I'm watching. They know I'm paying attention. They know I'm going to be invested no matter what. They're trying to get the ancillary person who just simply can't sit there for 3 hours and 42 minutes of baseball. And that's who you have to market to. I put this out on Twitter. I said, they don't care about me. They're trying to market to the 13-year-old with the iPad. That's who they need to pay attention. And if you have guys stepping out all the time, you have pitchers consistently stepping off the rubber, you're consistently changing bunt defenses and giving different signs, you're calling for time, you're having meetings on the mound, all this stuff that's not playing baseball racks up a bunch of time. So for those like me that hate this, just get used to it because it's not going anywhere. And I understand why they're doing it. And I do see that it's effective. It's working. I just hate it. I'm just going to have to deal with it. Curious what you guys think. We'll throw it to your poll, Citizens Bank and Trust poll question of the day. Do you like baseball's new time rules? Yes or no? I'm just telling you that this is part of a learning curve, but you're going to have a situation this year in SEC play when you've got a one-run game or a tied game, and either the pitcher's going to get called for a ball for staring in and looking for different signs, or a batter's going to be called out on strikes with runners at second and third in a tie game because he's trying to call time and steps out of the box. And all hell is going to break loose. Now, they know that too. The people creating these rules and putting them in know that situation is coming. And they're okay with it because in their mind, this is just part of the process. It's going to be an ugly look when it's a big time spot and this happens. But in their mind, they're saying this is just a process to get where we're going. When everybody gets used to this, and we don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to. The big situation won't arise because the players will be conditioned to move more quickly and do what they're supposed to do. So it's coming and it's here. So if you don't like it, deal with it. Didn't affect LSU over the weekend. Tigers win all 3 games against Western Michigan. Back in action tomorrow, Mardi Gras Day game, 2 o'clock first pitch, so right in the middle of our show against the Southern Jaguars over at Alec Bucks Stadium. When we come back, SEC was in action, all 14 teams. I'll give you some scores, some thumbnails, some of the things that I observed. I watched a little bit of SEC baseball over the weekend. I'll give you some thoughts on that as we kind of incorporate that into the show now moving forward. It's certainly, I don't think, going to be something where we're breaking down the repertoire of the Alabama bullpen arms, but interesting statistics, some news, notes, nuggets, things that happened here and there. We'll start to sprinkle those in because I don't know how much you want to hear me talk about hoops these days. We are going to talk a little hoops in hour number 2 when we come back. Look around the Southeastern Conference opening weekend in baseball. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
LWCC is Louisiana loyal. They are elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana here on the Hunt Palmer Show. So pumped all February long to tell you about Simone Malaz. Simone is a campaign director for Restore the Mississippi River Delta, a 5-group coalition focused on achieving a future Mississippi River Delta that includes just, climate-resilient coast where people and nature can thrive. We know how huge our coastline means to our state. We're talking about 2.5 million people that live on the coast. And the coast supports the infrastructure like highways, ports, pipelines, and fuels the country's economy. And Simone has dedicated her career to protecting Louisiana's coast as the executive director of Restore or Retreat. That makes Simone a champion of Louisiana. If you know a champion of Louisiana, whether it's a person like Simone, a nonprofit, or another business that's doing great, great work in Louisiana, let us know about it. Go to lwcc.com/champions, lwcc.com/champions, and nominate that person, that nonprofit, that business to be a champion of Louisiana. We're telling their story each and every day here on the Hunt Palmer Show. Pumped to tell you about Simone Malaz all February long. Simone Malaz is a champion of Louisiana, presented by LWCC.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Start your day with news and newsmakers. Start your day with traffic, weather, and local stories that are important to you. Kickstart your day every day. Mornings with Brian Haldane from 6 to 9 a.m. Weekdays on Talk 107.3.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne. Plus 2-time PBR World Champion Chris Shivers. And Brinson James, the Entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th. Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. The #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks.
Mario Jerez. Join us for a Tuesday edition of Off the Bench. Jake and T-Bob are still on vacation, but I'll fill in the meantime. And we talk Saints with Nick Underhill of New Orleans.football. Join us 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, let's look around the Southeastern Conference and what happened over the last 3 days. Just some little headline-grabbing things from series that I observed by looking at some stats, which I actually watched a little bit of SEC baseball over the weekend as well. Arkansas went to Arlington. They beat Texas 3-2 on Friday, lost 18-6 to TCU, then came back and throttled Oklahoma State 18-1. So a pair of games where a team scored 18 runs for Arkansas, but the Hogs go 2-1 in Arlington. Ole Miss swept Delaware. Hunter Elliott is the ace for the Rebels. He was a freshman left-hander that really came on at the end of last year as a number 2 behind Dylan DeLucia. He's now their Friday night guy. He struck out 9 in 5 innings. I think the most interesting thing that came out of Oxford over the weekend, for those of us here in Baton Rouge, was a freshman hitting a home run in his Ole Miss debut. What freshman, you might ask? A freshman by the name of Will Furness. That is Eddie's kid. Is swinging the bat left-handed for the Rebels. Of course, Mike Bianco was a coach here at LSU when Eddie was playing in Baton Rouge, and Eddie Furness, kid Will at Ole Miss, hit a home run in his first at-bat. Swing looked a little bit like his daddy's, but he's playing for Ole Miss. Mississippi State took 2 out of 3 against VMI. They did lose a game. It was quite comical. They were leading 10-1 on Saturday and let VMI come all the way back and beat them. VMI in the game on Saturday, one game, was 11 for 11 on stolen bases. 11 for 11. Plus, Mississippi State walked 12 guys on Saturday. You want to know how you lose a 10-1 lead? You let 12 guys walk and they all steal bases. That's how you lose. VMI, incidentally enough, I watched the last 2 innings of this game, and VMI's closer comes in. He's throwing 97. How in the world did VMI get a closer that can throw 97 miles an hour? That's what I want to know. Either way, they got the win. State takes 2 out of 3, but VMI did win the Saturday game. Texas A&M swept Seattle. I didn't see anything really of note. I watched the last couple of innings of their game on Friday and on Saturday. Nothing too noteworthy. A couple of really good offensive players back for Texas A&M, but I didn't see anything that was nothing like 11 for 11 in one game on stolen bases over there in College Station. Auburn took 2 of 3 from Indiana, got punked on Sunday 11-2 by the Hoosiers, but Auburn wins 2 out of 3 against visitors from the Big Ten. Bama swept Richmond. This was the most emphatic performance of the weekend, I think. They won 12-3 on Friday, 13-1 on Saturday, and 14-1 on Sunday. They were 39-5 was the combined score of that series between Alabama and Richmond. I did want to toss this in, even though this is not an SEC team. LSU, of course, plays Texas a week from tomorrow in Austin. Texas went 0-3 over the weekend in that tournament over in Arlington. So notes from the SEC East. Florida swept Charleston Southern. Gators had a couple of really impressive arms that were throwing in the upper 90s, as you would expect Kevin O'Sullivan's team to have. So there's a lot of talent down there on the pitching staff with Auburn. You got a guy like Wyatt Langford in the lineup who's about as good a hitter as there is in college baseball. Florida should be pretty good. South Carolina's pitching staff looked really good in a sweep of UMass Lowell. Again, not great competition, but the stuff was pretty impressive from South Carolina. LSU will make a trip to Columbia later this year. Georgia took 2 out of 3 against Jacksonville State. Here's how you lose an opening night game against Jacksonville State. They walked 8 guys and hit 5 more. 13 free bases from the Georgia staff, and Scott Strickland was asked, what didn't you like tonight? He goes, well, we walked 8 guys and hit 5 more. That's not a recipe to win. But Georgia did straighten things out, and they won the last two over Jacksonville State. Kentucky took 2 out of 3 from Elon in the opener against Elon. They got shut out. They lost 2-0. Elon's got a pitcher that was the conference pitcher of the year last year. ERA was sub-2, and he really took it to Kentucky on Friday. Kentucky only scored 9 runs on the weekend, which is not a huge number against an Elon team. You would think that they would score a little bit more on. And why is Kentucky going to Elon? Why is that on the schedule? Not a great idea, but they did get 2 out of 3 on the road. Missouri had a nice showing over in Arlington. They lost to Oklahoma State 5-3, beat Texas 6-5, and beat TCU 9-8. So some really tight games that Missouri was in. And they got a guy that's a football player on their team that was throwing some gas yesterday. I think up to 97 miles an hour for Missouri. It just seems like everybody can throw that hard now. It's crazy. That just did not exist in college baseball 10 or 11 years ago. Vanderbilt lost to TCU 11-4 in Arlington. They beat Oklahoma State and beat Texas 12-2. So Vanderbilt off to a pretty good start on the year. Did not win Carter Holton's start on Friday against TCU, but won the other 2. And then maybe the biggest headline-grabbing team in the Southeastern Conference outside of LSU is, of course, the Tennessee Vols. I think they've rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I watched a lot of Tennessee's game on Saturday. It was on the MLB Network, so I got it, and I was watching. And that's the game they lost to Grand Canyon 4-3. But Chase Burns was great in this game. He's number 2 to Chase Dollander, and he came out, his cutter or slider or whatever it is that's 87 miles an hour with sharp break to it is nasty. He doesn't throw quite as hard as Dollander, throws like 94, 95, which is plenty hard enough to get outs, but that slider cutter thing, whatever he's throwing, was disgusting. But the Vols didn't really hit. They scored 3 runs on Saturday and only 1 run against Arizona on Friday. Now, 2 of their best players are out. They've got eligibility issues. One of them is Maui Ahuna, the former Kansas shortstop. LSU was very much in the mix for him. He decided to go to Tennessee. He's been practicing with them, was practicing leading up to the game, and then all of a sudden you look up and he's ineligible. And I know this had to be a little bit of a surprise to Tennessee because Maui Ahuna's family flew in from Hawaii to watch these games in Arizona, and he didn't play. So I would think if there was 100% certainty they knew he was going to be ineligible, suspended, or not able to play, I don't think his parents would have flown in to see it. So just a bizarre circumstance there where one of Tennessee's best hitters not able to play. But the rest of the lineup did not do a great job over the weekend, and Grand Canyon and Arizona both beat them. They got a long way to go, and losing 2 out of 3 on opening weekend is totally inconsequential. No one cares. It doesn't matter. But that team last year, Tennessee's team, carried itself with the swagger of, I don't even know what to compare it to. They were just that confident, cocky, arrogant, whatever you want to call it. They had it. And they don't quite look that way. You lose Butler and you lose Lipscomb and you lose some. It's a different look, but it just, I don't know if they're going to be able to rekindle that juice, that energy. It's a lot. Now, they can try. Blake Burke's a heck of a hitter, and with Dollander and Burns going out there in games 1 and 2, you're always going to have a real good chance to win. But it just feels like it might be a little bit of different energy around Tennessee this year. I know that rubbed everybody the wrong way last year, but they were something to watch, no doubt about it. They got after UC San Diego on Sunday, 7-0. Drew Beam was excellent in that game. He's their number 3. He's another guy who's probably going to be a first-round pick when his time comes. And that's the strength of this Tennessee team is the arms, and the arms were very, very good. Arizona scored 3 runs. Grand Canyon scored 4 runs. UC San Diego scored no runs. So the arms are still very good. They just got to get the bats rolling a little bit. But Tennessee, the only SEC team to go 1-2 over the first weekend. I know that makes all of you very, very sad when I say that. But I did get a chance to watch them on Saturday. I still think they're going to be plenty good, especially if they can get their guys eligible. And I have no idea what the timetable looks like for that. You understand that the rule changes for the clock have been implemented in college baseball. They're looking at doing some things in college football. I'll tell you what those proposed rule changes are coming up to close out hour number 1 on the Hunt Palmer Show.
Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford, all that inventory right there, BayouFord.com. Maybe you're looking for an Expedition. Maybe you're looking for an Explorer. F-150. Maybe it's a Mustang or a Bronco you're interested in. Bayou Ford has got it all. If they've got exactly what you want on the lot, it'll be on the website at BayouFord.com. Check it out. They've got all your Carfax. They've got all your deals. They've got all the features to go with every single vehicle, including a video of said vehicle on the website at BayouFord.com. If they have exactly what you want, perfect. Make it happen with Ben Gagne and his team. If they don't, let them customize the vehicle for you. They can have it turned around in 60 to 90 days, and the Bayou to You guarantee means they're going to drive you that car and the paperwork right to your front door. You sign it, move about on your way. If you've got a car right now that you're not thrilled with and want to get into something new, let Bayou Ford buy your car back from you. They got a great buyback program over there. That'll give you a great head start at getting into your new wheels. BayouFord.com is the website. BayouFord.com is the website. Bayou Ford, where they're going to do right by you.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm out. Musso hosts all week, recapping opening weekend at the box. Join us for Monday's AFR, 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Happy Lundy Gras to everybody out there. If you're out on a parade or out somewhere checking us out, appreciate it. If you're just taking the day off because you have it, that's awesome. If you're grinding away like us in here, That's okay, too. Appreciate you hanging out with us no matter what your Lundi Gras plans may be. We're live and local all day tomorrow as well for Mardi Gras Day. Obviously, the guys in the morning are out, but Mario's holding it down. Got Max hanging out for Hanny. I'll be here. And then got Musso carrying the load for Matt, who is out this week as well. Teased it in the previous segment. College football looking at some potential rule changes to speed the game up. They don't love the 4-hour plus games, trying to find a way to make games shorter. And so there are some proposals on the table that could be implemented as early as this coming fall. And they're all geared towards speeding things up and shortening the game. One of the potentials here is prohibiting consecutive timeouts, like icing the kicker. Can't call back-to-back timeouts. No longer extending a first or a third quarter for an untimed down if the quarter ends on a defensive penalty. That's been something that there's done in the past, playing an untimed down, just start the fourth quarter or the second quarter and get on with it. Those are not necessarily going to impact too many games. Those would just be incremental changes that may make a tweak here or there. There's a third proposal here that is gaining a lot of traction, and that is running the clock after a first down. The exception would be inside 2 minutes to play in a half. So if you're in a 2-minute situation before halftime or at the end of a game, they would still stop the clock until the chains are reset. But the other, I guess you're talking about a 60-minute game, the other 56 minutes, they would just run the clock like the NFL on a first down. This, to me, isn't like baseball umpires refusing to give time or calling balls because a pitcher didn't get on the rubber. This, to me, doesn't change the gameplay. Now, it changes the amount of plays you can run, and there is certainly a change to the game, but it's not the gameplay. You're not awarding people yards or points because they're too slow. You're just speeding the game up the way that the NFL does. I don't have a huge problem with it. This is one of those things where when you have something presented to you, to me it's like, okay, if you're going to do that, do it. If you're not, don't. But just tell me what the rules are and I'll go play by them. That's kind of the way I feel about this. And the last proposal is to run the clock after an incomplete pass once the ball's been spotted for play. So theoretically, you throw an incomplete pass, the clock stops on the incompletion. Once they set the ball for play and wind it, you're going. So in the event of a spike, you better get everybody set up pretty quickly when they start the clock. Now, you don't spike it a lot outside of 2 minutes, but again, it's theoretically possible. That one is a little bit much. The clock's always stopped on an incomplete pass. I just feel like that's okay. But again, same thing with baseball. Like, they're not marketing to me. I'm sticking around for every snap of the LSU Grambling game in Tiger Stadium next year when it's 58-0. I'll be there and I'll be fine. They're trying to gear it to the fringe fan, the fan they're trying to attract or keep that's sick of ridiculous length of games. And I think I can hear every once in a while when I'm talking on the radio, I can hear people disagreeing with me and yelling in their car or talking in their head, or I feel like I can hear it. And this is one of those times I say, why don't you just cut the commercials with CBS? It takes for freaking ever. I'm just telling you that no one is financially compromised if you run the clock after a first down. People are financially compromised if you pull commercials. Follow the money. They're never going to upset that apple cart. So, sorry. It sounds like a great solution. I'm all for it, except you're taking money off the table. No one ever takes money off the table. It's not going to happen. So, you're going to have to, if you want to speed the game up, no commercial, shorter commercials, less commercials, not an option. Unless you're Augusta. Augusta National, they had people saying they were going to boycott their sponsors because they didn't allow women members. And Augusta said, okay, we just won't have any sponsors. We'll just do no commercials. How's that? They don't have to play by anybody's rules. College football, got to play by television's rules. Money, 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 money. So we'll see if these proposals do get approved. Again, if they are, the changes could come as quickly as this year, and I'm fine if you want to wind the clock after a first down. Just tell me what the rule is. Go play by it. But I do worry a little bit about sports bending over backwards and compromising things just in the name of getting things done a little bit more quickly. I've never had a problem with it. But again, I'm the guy who doesn't complain about post-game traffic either. It's just baked in as part of the game experience. Now that I do the post-game show, it's a little different. But I'm okay with the way things have always been there. But I'm in the minority, I think. I think most people want things to move a little bit more quickly. We'll see if, in fact, that is something that can be ironed out. That's it for hour number 1. If you missed any of it, catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com's on demand tab, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, anywhere you find your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. 30 minutes straight of LSU baseball talk at the top of the show, then some SEC baseball. Talked a little bit of rule change there at the end of hour number 1, so go catch that on demand if you missed it. When we come back, some SEC hoops talk as well as LSU South Carolina. Just a very, very ugly performance from LSU on Saturday. A lot to get to. Come back with us after Sports Center. Happy Lundi Gras, folks. We'll see you for hour 2 of the Hunt Palmer Show.
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Ram 1500s. 2022 Ram 1500 trucks on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls Bands and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting with a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. After he completes his contract buyout with the Jazz, guard Russell Westbrook plans to sign with the Clippers, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The chance to compete for a championship and remain in L.A. playing a significant part in Westbrook's decision. There's a lot to love about Westbrook and the Clippers. For First Take host Stephen A. Smith.
With his athleticism, his fire, the fire in his belly, his athleticism, his passion for the game, his reliability to show up in uniform on a night-in, night-out basis. And you're talking about that along with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
ESPN's Tim Bontemps reporting Bucks star power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo is scheduled to be in New York today to undergo further testing on his injured right wrist. NHL, the Islanders taking a major injury hit during their playoff push. Center Matthew Barzal, second on the team in points, out indefinitely with a lower body injury. New York currently holds the second and final wildcard spot in the East. Soccer, Liverpool owner John Henry ruling out the sale of the club, is seeking investment instead.
Coming up Tuesday, I'll tell you why the last 23 games of the Lakers season will define Anthony Davis' future. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour number 2 on this Monday, Lundy Girl edition of the Hunt Palmer Show from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. Lots of baseball talk in hour number 1. We will slightly begrudgingly transition over to hoops. LSU and South Carolina on Saturday inside the PMAC. Really a game LSU could have won. Not the way that it played out, just on paper before the game started. South Carolina, we went through all the metrics on Friday, unfortunately. They're a putrid offensive team, haven't shot the ball well all year. Not a good defensive team. There's a reason the record was what it was when they came in to Baton Rouge. And there's a reason LSU was a 7.5-point favorite in the game, because South Carolina is not good. And to those of you who say, well, neither is LSU. Yeah, I know. We're very aware the basketball team has lost 13 games in a row, 14 games in a row. Like, yes, I got it. But what you needed if you're LSU was for everything to kind of play to its average. If South Carolina played at its baseline and LSU played at its baseline, LSU had a great chance to win that game on its home floor. But of course, South Carolina comes out and looks like the freaking Golden State Warriors. This team could not make 5 straight threes in layup lines. And they come out of the tunnel, bang, 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 bang. 5 in a row. G.G. Jackson hit 2. Wright hit 3. LSU is down 15-5, 4.5 minutes into the game. Because South Carolina, who is putrid at shooting the basketball, can't miss. And part of it is LSU's defensive ability. You leave open shooters. Sometimes guys make shots. But LSU tends to have guys make shots early and create this massive confidence flow to the entire team, so they all just start bombing threes in. And that's what you saw. South Carolina started the game 7 of 10 from 3. At one point, they were 14 out of 29. They hadn't made 14 threes in a game all year. They had 14 made threes after 23 minutes of action. Just an absolute barrage of three-pointers coming in from South Carolina. When the dust had settled, South Carolina had made 15 threes, shot 47%. They were 17 of 18 from the free throw line. Keep in mind, they've been a terrible free throw shooting team all year. And they scored 82 points. And I think 65% of that is LSU not playing very good defense. And I think 35% of it is just rotten luck. Be the equivalent of, I get frustrated just talking about it because I wanted, like I said on Friday, you don't have any big time goals or aspirations for this LSU basketball team. You understand the situation that you're in. You've got this left on the schedule. You got to go out there and play. I wanted for the guys on the team that have been waking up early to do weightlifting, have been going to practice and getting treatment for injuries and study hall and it's a full-time grind for these guys, and losing 14 games in a row sucks. It's just not fun. It's hard to get up and bring your will and your effort day in and day out when that's the situation your team is. And I'm an LSU alum and a fan and a supporter of the team, and I want good things for those guys who represent my alma mater. And this seemed like a spot that they could get a win. Because a win to this group would mean so much. Yeah, Alabama's pumped they won their game on Saturday. But they got eyes on March. They win a lot. They got another one on Saturday. Okay. This team wins a game, you're probably throwing water all over everybody in the locker room. Like, it would be a big deal for them to win, and this was the spot. You had a bad team coming in on your home floor, and that's the day they decide to light it up. And it sounds like sour grapes, and it sounds like I'm whining and complaining, and all that's true. It is, 100%. I'm disappointed how the season's gone. I'm bummed out about how Saturday went. And I'm cranky because I know South Carolina is very capable of going 6 of 32 from the three-point line, and instead they made 15 of them. I know they're very capable of doing a poor job at the free throw line. They went 17 of 18. I know they're very capable of scoring 55 points. They scored 82. So none of this segment, none of this rant and raving, none of this is supposed to sound professional or mature or buttoned up, because none of it is. I'm bummed out that happened on Saturday because I thought that these guys had a chance to get a win, and it just didn't happen. Cam Hayes played his tail off. He scored 25 points in his 34 minutes. He was 8 of 15 from the floor. He knocked down four threes, dished out 4 assists, which led the team. But it just wasn't good enough. LSU was 14 of 26 from the free throw line. That is 54%. They left 12 points out there at the stripe. And it just comes down to, in this game, like making and missing. And LSU wasn't awful in terms of field goal percentage. 42% for this team's not terrible, but they got 62 shots up. They only had 6 turnovers in the game. They got shots up. They just played poorly on defense. If you would have told me entering the game that LSU was going to score 73 points, I'd have said, okay, I think that's enough. I think that can get you home. I just didn't see South Carolina scoring 82, and that's what happened. They came in here and really shot it great. G.G. Jackson's a heck of a player. He scored 20. Michi Johnson was 5 of 9 from 3. He scored 20. Jacoby Wright had 18 points. He was 5 of 8 from 3. And, it had to be the guards for them, and it certainly was. Their guards were great. And LSU loses a chance there to get a win. You got another home game coming up on Wednesday against Vanderbilt. Vandy's played some solid basketball here the last couple of months. You kind of look at it and go, man, if you can't get the one at South Carolina at home, which one can you get? And it's going to take a day for LSU like South Carolina just had, where they just start making a ton of shots. We'll see. Just a few weeks left for this LSU basketball team as they try to get off the schneid. And again, I just, my heart hurts for those guys who are out there giving it what they got, and they just can't quite climb the mountain and get that win. South Carolina 82-73 is the final score from the PMAC. Again, LSU back in action on Wednesday against Vanderbilt. I want to get to some SEC scores here coming up over the weekend because there were some interesting SEC basketball nuggets. But I want to remind you this February, 104.5 ESPN and Citizens Bank and Trust are here to offer you a holiday rebate to the tune of $2,000 in cash. We'll also be selecting a local prize winner to receive $1,000 in cash. Sign up now at 1045ESPN.com. Let's take a time out. Come back with some SEC hoops, news, and notes. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
This is Hunt Palmer. Our listeners fire up their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit. We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers. Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Saturday, February 20th.
Join us for the Monday edition of Game Time. We're live at Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. Charlie's in Franklin for Lundi Gras, but me and Max are holding the show down Monday, 6 to 8 p.m. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. Enjoy the boil, crawfish, and a whole lot more. Game Time on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Let's run through some of the results from SEC basketball action on Saturday. Bama ripped through Georgia for 54 points in the first half and had so much fun with that they decided to score 54 more in the second half. They win at 108-59. They win by 49 points over the Dogs. It's just one of those games that you just get thrown in the wood chipper if you're playing Alabama because they just are relentless with their threes, and they shot 47% from three. They made 16 of them, 16 of 34 in the game, and just absolutely obliterated Georgia to improve to 13-1 in league play. Kentucky was impressive on Saturday. They got up 20 points on Tennessee at halftime, and it was one of those games where Tennessee just simply couldn't score. They had these games where the offense sucks, and it's why you just simply – there's just no way that I can trust this Tennessee team to make a run in the NCAA tournament because there's no way I think they can get through 2 weekends. I mean, this is based on where they've been ranked all year in the top 10, that's a legitimate Final Four contender, no? Yeah, of course it is. So you're going to have to win 4 tournament games to get to the Final Four. There's no way I can trust that offense for 2 weeks. No way. And they end up scratching and clawing and scoring some in the second half, but never quite reaching where they needed to reach. And Kentucky beats them by 12, 66-54 in Rupp. So Kentucky sweeps Tennessee on the season. And Kentucky did this the way that John Calipari wants them to do it. It was not done from the outside. They only took 8 threes in the game. It was done driving, assisting, and rebounding. It's what Cal loves. And they won the glass by 8 over Tennessee, who's a big physical team. You saw 6 assists from Cason Wallace, who's been great, and a really good defensive effort from Kentucky and an offense in Tennessee that just was terrible. Tennessee lost the game by 12 points. They missed 10 free throws. They were 4 of 14 from the free throw line. That's just... I can excuse getting beat at the buzzer in back-to-back games against Vanderbilt and Missouri. One corner three that goes in, the other, kind of a desperation heave. That I can look past. I can't look past continued shortcomings on the offensive side, especially when you go 4 of 14 from the free throw line. That just won't get it done. Arkansas smoked Florida. Florida now without Colin Castleton is kind of rudderless ship, as I said, and Arkansas had to win this game. They're now 7-7 in the league. You've got to win a game against Florida at home. And now you got to find a way late in the season to grab a marquee win or two to make sure you stay in the NCAA tournament. And they've got nothing but marquee stuff coming up at them after tomorrow when they play Georgia at home. They've got to take care of the business in that one. Then let's see what they can do. You're at Bama, at Tennessee, home against Kentucky. The Hogs can find a way to win 1 or 2 of those. You're talking about definitely an NCAA tournament team. I think they're going to make it anyway, but you don't want to go to the SEC tournament having anything to prove, and Arkansas could put themselves in that spot. Egg Bowl on the hardwood, Mississippi State 69, Ole Miss 61. It was an overtime game that Mississippi State wins in Oxford. Mississippi State moves to 6-8 in SEC play, and this is a team that was awful at one point in SEC play. You're talking about a team that was once 1-7 in league play, and the only win was over Ole Miss at home. Now, all of a sudden, They've won 6 of their last 7 games, the one loss being a 3-point loss to Kentucky. And Coach Jans' team is making some strides. They are playing much better basketball than they were early in the season. So hat tip to them as Mississippi State improves to 6-8 on the season. SEC play. Ole Miss drops to 2-12. LSU's headed to the Pavilion soon. We'll see if they can get a win against that Ole Miss team. Texas A&M just keeps it going. They just keep it going. They got up 14 points at the half on Missouri in Columbia and finished it off with a 69-60 win. Texas A&M is now 12-2 in league play. They're going to be an NCAA tournament team that was just so bad early in the year. It finally clicked for Buzz's guys, and once it did, they just never looked back. And I watch them more than I should because I, for some reason, care, and they're just impressive. They play hard. They're connected. They seem to make big plays at the right time. They're not a great shooting team, but they'll hit a big 3 when they need to. They'll get a steal and a run-out dunk. They'll draw a big charge. They just seem to make the plays when they have to. And Missouri threw a punch back after being down by 14 at halftime and cut that thing inside single digits and had a chance. But A&M just kept them at arm's length and finished it off up in Columbia. So that's a road win for Texas A&M. Very, very impressive. I mentioned they're 12-2, and you look at what they've got remaining. It gets tougher, but they're in such a good spot now. I don't think they can screw it up. They got a home game against Tennessee tomorrow. That'll be a 6:00 tip on ESPN. That's a huge one for both teams. They're at Mississippi State, which could be tricky. Mississippi State's obviously very big. They got to go to Ole Miss, which shouldn't be an issue for them. And then they got a home game against Alabama on March the 4th at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. So big one there for the Aggies to close it out. But again, they put themselves in such a good position that I don't think they have to worry too much about making the tournament, which sounds crazy based on what we thought of them right around Christmas. And last score, nice win for Vanderbilt. They improved to 8-6 in league play with a 67-65 win over Auburn. Auburn falls to 8-6, and just kind of a mediocre run here for Auburn in SEC play. And now you're looking at a team in Auburn that has lost 4 of 5. They have lost 6 of 8 and are just kind of leaking oil. They've got a brutal back end of their schedule here. They've got Ole Miss coming up on Wednesday, which is very, very winnable. They'll win that game. Then they're at Kentucky, at Alabama, and they play Tennessee. They may lose their last 3. And if you're talking about an Auburn team that loses those last 3 games, assuming they beat Ole Miss, they would be a 9-9 SEC team without a lot on the bone in non-conference. That would be an uncomfortable spot to be. I think they would have to go to the SEC tournament and get some things done, quite frankly. So not something I expected. I thought that Auburn would potentially go win that game against Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt's been impressive. And Leon Robbins is maybe the most underrated player in the Southeastern Conference. You look at what he's done in the front court for Vanderbilt, 24-12 in this game. Not a guy that anyone ever talks about. It's all Oscar Tshiebwe. It's all Henry Coleman at A&M. It's all Castleton, Janai Broome at Auburn. It's all Bama with Miller, Bediako at the block. No one ever talks about Liam Robbins. He's been awesome for them, and certainly is a guy that we'll talk about as Vanderbilt comes to the PMAC this week. But a nice win for them, 67-65 over the weekend. So that's your look at the Southeastern Conference in basketball. We will take another time out here a little bit early. We'll come back one more segment, then we'll play some Take It or Leave It. Hope your Lundy Graw is going awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Hunt Palmer Show.
This is Hunt Palmer. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
Let's go, defense!
We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers. Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients.
Mario Jerez. Join us for a Tuesday edition of Off the Bench. Jake and T-Bob are still on vacation, but I'll fill in the meantime. And we talk Saints with Nick Underhill of NewOrleans.football. Join us 7 to 10 a.m. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Just scrolling through my phone here. You know, one of the issues with Mardi Gras at times can be some theft going on. And there were some pickpockets roaming the streets, for sure. And Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office got a tip, got a warrant, executed the warrant, and found 40 iPhones with 4 folks over there in Tangipahoa Parish. Apparently this crew flew from Miami to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, set up shop on the North Shore, had pickpocketed 40 cell phones. That's pretty impressive. I got to be honest. Like, you tell me I got to go pickpocket 40 cell phones over a week, I'm probably coming up short and probably going to get caught or punched in the face. Nice effort grabbing 40 phones. But you're probably going to be spending some time in the slammer now. I wanted to talk about something. I saw a comment in the Bayou 4 chat. I can't find it now, but I did see it. It doesn't matter who it was that said it. But because it's something that I've seen a lot of over the last 2 months about Matt McMahon and his sideline demeanor during games. And he's got no fire, there's no intensity, the guys don't want to play for him, and that's kind of become the overwhelming talking point on Matt McMahon in year number 1 here. And Matt McMahon is a mild-mannered guy. To suggest that he's in some way like tuned out or unemotional or not like that's just ludicrous. And he does at times raise his voice. He does at times come out on the floor. He'll clap his hands, give some instruction. He's not going to blow a gasket on the sideline. And he didn't do that at Murray State either. You got to be who you are. I don't see Mark Few and Bill Self going absolutely bananas on the sideline at times. That's just not who they are. Buzz Williams is going to run around, sweat a ton, and eat a towel. Like, that's who he is. That's what he's going to do. Cal is his own certain way. And Matt McMahon is a little bit more stoic and not as fiery, if that's the word you want to use. And certainly Will Wade was. And if you didn't like LSU and you were pulling against Will Wade's program, at times you would say he acted like a petulant child, probably. I'm sure Pat Forty's probably written that 30 times. But I have no issue with the way that Matt McMahon handles himself on the sideline. And to be quite honest, if you're in the middle of a 14-game losing streak and you run around the sideline like a crazy person, it's going to look really dumb, and your players are probably going to tune you out, quite frankly. Because that's just not what they need right now. If you are, Nate Oates right now, and you've got a 50-point lead on somebody, and you want to try to get guys engaged and show a little bit more enthusiasm, energy, or whatever, that situation may call for it because it's hard to get guys. LSU's trying. They just are losing. And no, I don't want to live in a world where LSU loses 14 straight basketball games. And I'm fully aware that things have got to change for next year. And I think they will. But I just don't have this sense that the way that Matt McMahon is carrying himself on the sideline is some sort of issue. You got to be authentic. You got to be who you are. And I promise you, if he was the exact same way and this LSU team was a 9-9 SEC team, no one would care about the way he acted on the sideline. It's purely a result, in my opinion, of wins and losses. And when the losses stack up, we got to point to stuff. We got to blame somebody. We got to take it out on somebody. And so we've settled in a lot of instances on Matt McMahon's sideline demeanor. I'm just not there. I'm curious, in the Bayou 4 chat, those of you, I can't remember who it was that said it, but y'all's thoughts on what irks you about this, because I know that it does some people. I contend it's just a scoreboard. But I don't want Matt McMahon to be somebody he's not, just for the sake of passion, energy. I use air quotes there. I just don't see it that way. They start to win some games next year. I don't think anybody is going to care. But it seems like a long way away at this point. I wanted to spend a little bit of time here, as we've got a little bit of time here in the second hour before we get to take it or leave it, on Full Swing, the Netflix documentary on the PGA Tour. I've been so excited for this for months to find out that it was finally coming out. And I've now gotten a chance to watch a couple of episodes after the first one. I told you on this show that I just did not like the first episode. I thought that for me, the avid golf fan, I would be categorized as an avid golf watcher, which, by the way, this is not geared towards the avid golf watcher. But the first episode, when you're telling me what a par is and what a bogey is and all this kind of stuff, that's hard for me to sit through. And I knew everything that I saw in the Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth documentary. I knew that Justin Thomas won the PGA. I knew that he and Jordan Spieth were good friends. I knew that they played practice rounds together and gambled. I knew there was nothing that it showed me that I didn't know. The only thing I got from the first episode was that Justin Thomas's allergies were bad in the second round of the PGA, and he had to go to a Walgreens before his round. That's it. So I was disappointed in episode 1. However, if you had no idea who these guys were and didn't watch golf ever, it would be a totally different vantage point for you and viewing experience for you. And maybe it was good. But I will tell you, as an avid golf watcher, episodes 2 and 3 were significantly better. There is an episode of this documentary that follows Brooks Koepka around as he is struggling to get back from injury and to regain the form that made him the most dominant major player in the game of golf for 2 years. And it is a fascinating watch on a guy that carried himself as the most alpha, the most quote-unquote arrogant, cocky dude on the tour. And for him to sit there and tell you, like, his confidence is shot, his game's in shambles, and he can't find his way out of it was a fascinating watch. And I'm not going to spoil anything for those of you that haven't watched it, but it really is worth a look. And it juxtaposes him with Scotty Scheffler, who's the least alpha and arrogant guy on the tour, is just simple Scotty, just kind of moping around, just going to do the best I can. We'll see what happens, and put it in God's hands, and just accept the results or whatever. I mean, it was very fascinating to watch them juxtapose the two. So I guess what I'm getting at here is, if you are not an avid golf watcher at all, or golf player or interested in golf at all, you can dive into this, I think, and be interested in it. And if you are an avid golf watcher, follower, player, whatever you may be, there's spots in it for you as well. Because I was concerned after that first episode. Like, I cannot sit here through telling me that there are 4 majors in golf, and if you win those, it enhances your career. And oh, by the way, these 2 guys are buddies, and they fly on private jet. Like, I know all that stuff. I can't spend 8 hours, which I think it's eight episodes, paying attention to that. But it got into some of the more inside footage type stuff. Now, there was another episode that had Ian Poulter, and it talked about his decision to join Live Golf, and he got like $40 million to do it, which was basically all his on-course prize winnings over his entire career, and he's 46 years old and just kind of did it for his family. And, you know, I don't like Ian Poulter because he's super arrogant and has broken my heart year after year after year in the Ryder Cup, where he inexplicably goes from one of the least competitive major golfers in the world, who never wins anything or ever shows up on any leaderboard, to the most unbeatable player in the history of match play golf when he puts on a Team Europe shirt. But it was an interesting look behind the curtain, I think, at the decisions that folks have made regarding Live Golf. And you kind of get a peek into that and kind of the way that he lives his life. And I think this is a little bit of a spoiler, so if you're really locked in and want to watch this documentary and don't want anything, then maybe turn me off for the next 30 seconds. But he contextualizes it this way. He flew from his home in London all the way to the PGA Championship in Tulsa, played golf for 3 days, practice rounds, and then his two in-tournament rounds, missed the cut, and made $0. It's a lot of travel expenses, private jets, accommodations, all that, to make $0. And then you got, you know, the Saudis and Greg Norman to come over and say, here's $40 million guaranteed. Plus, you can't miss the cut. We don't have cuts. You're going to be on a team, and we'll get you paid at the end of that tournament every time, too. And he decided that's what he wanted to do. And Ian Poulter comes from very little, humble beginnings, municipal golf, and now he has a Ferrari collection and flies everywhere on private jets. He's very opulent with the way that he lives. Got to support that with some cash, and he went and made that happen. So I'm going to watch a couple more episodes tonight, but I think the overarching theme of my conversation with you, the listener, if you have not tuned into Full Swing, it's for the golfer and the non-golfer, the same way that a lot of people who'd never watched Formula One in their lives got all into that Full Drive or whatever that was. the F1 series that kind of triggered this whole thing. So excited to get back and dive into a couple more episodes this evening when I retire to my quarters, as it were. All right, we'll come back. We'll play some Take It or Leave It, and we will get on down the road. Hope your Lundy Gras is going awesome. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
This is Hunt Palmer. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Saturday, February 25th, 7 p.m. The Bulls, Bands, and Barrels Tour at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Edge of your seat excitement with bull riding, barrel racing, ultimate bullfighting. With a live performance by Bailey Zimmerman. With Timothy Wayne, plus two-time PBR world champion Chris Shivers, and Brinson James, the entertainer. Tickets and information at bullsbandsandbarrels.com. Saturday, February 25th, Lamar Dixon Expo Center at 7 p.m. Presented by Jerry Lane Chevrolet, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in Louisiana.
I had to leave my parents. I had to move schools. I don't know anyone here. Everything keeps changing. Why is this happening to me? I'm sure glad you're here.
Change a child's story. There's a child in foster care waiting for a volunteer like you.
Women who suffer from cardiac arrest outside of a hospital are less likely than men to receive life-saving CPR from bystanders. This is especially true for Black and Latino women. Be the one in your family to help change this statistic by taking the American Heart Association's challenge to learn CPR. Be the beat for someone you love. You can make a difference when it matters most. Go to heart.org today to take the CPR challenge and save lives.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm out. Musso hosts all week, recapping opening weekend at the box. Join us for Monday's AFR, 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I was looking up at the TV screen here. We got the TVs going, and one of the ESPN shows was talking about the Bears situation. I find this incredibly fascinating. It's just not that often that a team has a young quarterback that is unproven either way. You don't know if Justin Fields is going to be a star or a bust, probably somewhere in between. But they've got the number one pick. There are some quarterbacks there. Do they trade Fields and go get Bryce Young? Do they trade out of the pick, just get more picks because they believe in Justin Fields? It is very, very fascinating for a fan base that's been starving for a quarterback for decades. And now you've really got two at your disposal. You've got Justin Fields and Bryce Young. You have to make a call. And if history is any indication, they'll screw it up like they did with Mitch Trubisky instead of Patrick Mahomes. But it's a fascinating way to look at things. Unfortunately, like for us in this market, the Saints aren't that interesting right now. You throw Derek Carr in the mix, even though I think that's a huge mistake, it's certainly interesting. Andy Dalton's not interesting. But the Bears being in that situation is very, very fascinating. Very curious to see what they do. I didn't even realize till Dan Orlovsky went on to Twitter today the Combine's next week. It's so the NFL, it just never turns off. It is just always on. There's always something going on in the NFL. It's a masterclass in public relations and controlling the news feed, and they're brilliant at it for sure. We'll see what those Bears decide what it is they want to do. All right, Taylor Sharp, let's play some Take It or Leave It.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll tell you what doesn't turn off. Major League Baseball. Jeez. Russell Westbrook decided that he wasn't getting it done in the purple and gold. He's going to sport the blue and red, signing with the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers will come out of the West. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that. Man, it's just been a crazy fall from grace from Russell Westbrook, a guy that averaged a triple-double for a season. It was just like lighting it up, triple-double night after night, totally unguardable. And now as Father Time starts to wage his war, I don't know whether or not his skills eroded or it was just such an awful fit for the Lakers, but it just seemed like he kind of fell off the face of the earth at a given point with Los Angeles. So we'll see if we can rekindle it with the Clippers. When I think of Russell Westbrook, I'm always going to think of the one time that I saw him in person. And I went down to a Pelicans game with a buddy, and we're watching the game. And it's crazy because when I'm in an LSU basketball game in the PMAC, I'm constantly very aware of the score. It's a 6-point game. It's an 18-point game. It's a 3-point game. I'm always aware of what the score is. And when I go to a Pelicans game, I don't know whether it's because my rooting interest isn't as strong or because they score a lot more and it fluctuates a little bit more. But like I have a hard time. I don't have a hard time. I find myself not keeping up with the score as closely. And so I was watching the game, and the Pelicans are playing the Thunder, and Westbrook's kind of doing his thing, and it feels like he's kind of won off the dribble and knocked down an elbow jumper a number of times. I'm thinking, man, he's got to have like 25, 28 points. It's like early fourth quarter. Look up. He's 47. It would seem like the easiest 50-point game I've ever seen I haven't seen a lot of 50-point games, but it was effortless the way that he could score and get to his spot on the floor and make it happen. And it seems like those days are behind him, but maybe a fresh start in a new spot will help him out. I just don't think the Clippers with him are going to come out of the West.
I once witnessed Russell Westbrook on multiple occasions box out Serge Ibaka, who was on his team, so that he could get a triple-double. Fun fact of the day.
Yeah, see? Stats. That's how you get paid, Taylor.
The dunk contest. Take it or leave it.
You know, McClung put on a show. I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Tepidly. I would rather watch the home run derby. I would probably rather watch the three-point shootout. The dunk contest had its day, and then it feels like it kind of went away. All these guys missing these dunks all the time, and you're always trying to one-up and do something new that no one's ever done, and that was easier to do in the 80s than it is now. But McClung was awesome, and that's a guy that not a lot of people in NBA circles know because he hasn't been an impact player in the league and hasn't been in the league, quite honestly. He's somebody college fans are very familiar with, and unfortunately, we got a ton of Mac McClung here in the PMAC a few years ago when LSU had a 10-point lead with 2 minutes to go against Texas Tech, and he hit a couple of threes, and they ended up winning the game. I think the reviews were very, very good for what he did in that game. I remember Dwight Howard putting on an absolute show with the Superman cape and putting the sticker on the
And then he
top.
jumped over the Kia or something like that.
Well, I think that was Blake Griffin, wasn't it?
Yeah, Griffin jumped over the Kia.
You know, it's that at that point you feel like you kind of jumped the car, I guess, to use that term. But I think that there was a little bit of juice to this one, so I'll go ahead and take it. It's okay.
Tiger Woods made the cut and finished the Genesis Invitational at 1 under in his return to the PGA Tour. Tiger will win again, take it or leave it.
I will leave it. The default answer is never bet against Tiger, just like the default answer was never bet against Tom Brady. And I kind of came out in August last year and said, hey, by the way, I think this thing's cooked with Tom Brady. I don't think the Bucs are going to be that good. And look, he threw a lot of passes this year, completed a lot, had a lot of yards, and they won some games. But, you know, it didn't work out for them. And I love Tiger Woods playing golf. I would desperately want him to be in the hunt coming down the back nine in Augusta here in a couple of months. He can't walk, and he can't practice to the level. And now he's 25 years older than these great young players. And he still has some ball speed. Like he can hit the tee shots pretty decent ways, and he still got the iron shots, but he can't put the work in like he needs to. He can't walk 18 holes and then do it 72 holes worth. I think he's going to play some, but eventually he'll come to the realization personally that he's not competing, and then he'll stop because he's not going to be like one of these, honorary players like Arnie and Jack were into their 60s and 70s. When he feels like he can't win, he'll stop, and I think it's sooner rather than later. I would love it if he won again. I just don't think that his body's going to allow him to do it.
All right, last one. The New York Jets believe that Derek Carr can lead them to a championship. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that one. The Jets do have a decent roster. It's not quite as bad as it has been in years. And yes, their quarterback play has been also awful. Whatever they were doing with the musical chairs this year, it wasn't good. And so would he help them? Yes. Would he make them a championship team? No. It's not like the Raiders were atrocious in terms of their roster this year. They had really good pass catchers, the league's leading running back, and they weren't very good because Derek Carr is just an average player. To win a championship, I think you're going to need elite quarterback play, and I don't think Derek Carr is going to give you elite quarterback play. It's the same discussion we had. We were talking about the Saints, whether or not they should go get Derek Carr, and I said no, because it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, and he's not that good. If you were going to go get one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league for that kind of money, I'm all for it. Yeah, manipulate the salary cap any way you want, make it happen. But dumping a ton of cash into an average quarterback, which is what Derek Carr is not a recipe for success to me, and I don't think it would necessarily put the Jets over the hump in a conference that includes Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and all those really good quarterbacks up there. You got Herbert, and now Trevor Lawrence maybe ascending a little bit, and we'll see what Deshaun Watson's got. Like, it just Lamar. No, it's not. They would not be a championship team with Derek Carr. I reject that notion wholeheartedly.
Is this like the perfect thing for the Jets to come out and say? Like, is there a better franchise to just go all in on Derek Carr?
I mean, the Jets are about as big a punchline as you got in the sport at this point. It just is. It's a great line in Big Daddy. When you start talking about the Jets, I can't quite say it on the air, but if you've watched Big Daddy, you understand. It's just a perfect synopsis of what the Jets are to their fan base, and I don't think Derek Carr would do much in the way of changing that. Tomorrow, LSU and Southern will play at 2:00. This is not a cold weather thing. This is just a Mardi Gras Day thing. A lot of people off work, a lot of kids out of school. They're going to play in the afternoon. So if you're looking for something to do tomorrow and not going to go out to any parades, LSU baseball at 2:00. Of course, we're on from 1 to 3 here on the Hunt Palmer Show. We will have Glenn West in the first hour at 1:30, kind of getting you ready for LSU and Southern. I'll set the table for it, and then we'll transition on to something different in the second hour because those of you who are locked in on baseball will be probably watching baseball. or listening to baseball at that point. So we'll find some things to do in the second hour, but very much looking forward to tomorrow's show. Our whole cast is here. Me, Casey, Taylor, we are all here. There's a lot of rotating spots on the station this week, as a lot of folks are out and about in the morning. Mario doing a great job holding it down for Jacob and T-Bob, who are out. Hanny is down in Mardi Gras land south of I-10 somewhere. So Max is holding his show down for the first couple of days of the week. And then Musso is going to be in the big chair for AFR over the next week because Matt is out. But we're still rocking and rolling here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. If you missed any of today's show, you can always catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com's on-demand tab. All the shows are there, all the sound uploaded daily. You can catch it all on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google as well. Wherever you find your podcast, you can find us, and we always appreciate when you head over to YouTube, where those folks are hanging out in the Bayou Ford chat. Subscribe to the station. Subscribe to each show page. It helps us to get our content in front of as many people as possible, and it gets right to your fingertips when it gets uploaded. Taylor does an awesome job of putting together those little 10-minute segment clips, and our full shows are archived each and every day. If you missed today, open the show 30 minutes straight of LSU baseball, my thoughts on the opening weekend. I also wrote a column over at the Bengal Tiger on 3. If you want to catch that, that's going to be weekly over there as well. Went through the SEC's baseball weekend at 1:30, and then some thoughts on rule changes in college football at the end of the hour. Basketball talk dominated the first part of hour number 2, so go back and catch it all on demand. Have a great Lundi Gras evening. Be safe out there, folks, if you're out and about. And hope you have a great Mardi Gras holiday tomorrow. We will be same time, same place, right here from 1 to 3 on every weekday, including tomorrow, on the capital city's leader in sports talk. You're listening to 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.